Last year's COVID Christmas, my fiance gifted me the Hamilton Khaki Pilot Pioneer. Shortly after its release in 2019, it made my list, even with my doubts on that tonneau shaped case. Its size and military heritage appealed to me, but it was the dial, highlighted by that box mineral crystal, that really drew me in. But if memory serves me right, I had just spent close to $700 on the gold Zodiac Olympus and $500 on a vintage Omega Seamaster. So spending $550 for the Pilot Pioneer through a gray market watch dealer wasn't going to happen anytime soon. And so the Pilot Pioneer remained on my list. But I didn't mind it so much. Foolishly, I thought I could get it for less. After the hype, the price would drop. Sadly, that $550 price tag has yet to be seen again. But every dog has its day. And last Christmas, this mutt got a Khaki Pilot Pioneer. If this is your first time watching the Dapper Wrist, my name is Jay, with the only channel on YouTube primarily featuring the best in affordable dress watches, better suited for the smaller wristed. Before its release, I had my eye on the Hamilton Khaki Mechanical Field Watch. That watch is around $200 less, and it came with a sapphire crystal. So spending over $300 instead of over $500 seemed more likely, but it never happened. First, the lug-to-lug length of that field watch was too long at 47 millimeters for my thin wrist. And second, this J. Crew Timex field watch looks so much like the Hamilton that I could not justify its purchase when I already have the look of that Hammy. After that was decided, I then considered the Hamilton Khaki Automatic Field Watch. But this tonneau prevented that by. Again, they just look too similar. My insistence on owning a Hamilton military watch never waned, and the Pilot Pioneer at the top of the list yet again. But now it could only be found for $588.98 through timepieces.com. I was regretting not buying it at $550, but all that changed when my lady found out about my pending watch purchase. She surprised me, offering to pay for it as a Christmas gift. Best gift ever. Just under 36 millimeters from 9 to 3, with a lug-to-lug length of 41.5, 10 millimeters tall, with an 18 millimeter lug width, make the watch ideal for my 6¼ inch wrist. The British military issued this watch from 1973 to 1976, and it is my understanding that the size is the same as the original. This is rare, and I'm so glad they kept it that way. With most watches still being 40 millimeters and up, y'all with average and above average size wrists always get the pick of the litter. So you'll hear no sympathy from me about this watch being too small for you. None. I would guess that 85 to 90% of the watch reviews on YouTube are of watches I could never buy because of size. And that's not cool. This watch is for us the runts, and it's about effing time. When I first considered this watch, the barrel-shaped case was of some concern. I tend to prefer basic round case watches, but thrifting one day, I ran into this vintage mechanical Elgin. The look and feel killed any doubt. The case is finely brushed on its sides and front. But unlike my last review on the Seiko 5 S&K 95, the fine brushing is of higher quality, as it should be. The bevel that separates the top of the case from the sides is also brushed. Hamilton knows how to play it cool, without losing any execution points. The simplicity of its case does not make the watch dull or boring. Quite the contrary, it's daring, assured, and beautifully robust. The stainless steel watch has 100 meters of water resistance, with a case back held in place by 4 screws. The H50 manual wind movement has 17 joules with an 80-hour power reserve. The 3-hand watch ticks 6 times per second with a BPH of 21,600. The pull-push crown tucked in at the 3 o'clock hacks and is signed with their throwback H. There's no doubt that the box mineral crystal heightened its readability. Now don't get it twisted. It's not magnifying, it's clarifying. When the military asked for a quick-at-glance pilot watch, Hamilton delivered. And they did so by providing a crystal clear glass so that no detail is lost. By having a textured matte black dial as a backdrop, the white Arabics contrast beautifully and stand out proudly. The numerals are not applied, but they are thickly printed. Unlike the flat printing of the Hamilton name below the triangle and mechanical above the 6, the Arabics have some height. They look pretty good. Now, I can understand the lack of sapphire being a non-starter for many of y'all, but not for me. Acrylic and mineral crystals are less reflective. And although there is a time to critique a watch because it lacks a sapphire, when it comes to affordable watches, ain't the time. The sword hands are polished, and so is the needle second hand. And aside from the old school H on the crown, not much else is. The white railroad minute track is nostalgic and aids in the reading of time. And at the risk of sounding repetitive, it simply looks good. And now the beige loom. Many have referred to it as faux vintage loom. I get it, and I see it too. But when I first saw this watch, that's not what I saw. I saw a watch with the right colors to make it its most legible and handsome. The black, white, beige palette work exceptionally well. Unfortunately, the loom's not long lasting. It might surprise some of y'all to know that my second favorite style of watch is the field watch. I just wish it were more comfortable on this 2-piece strap, because this combo kills. Its original nylon is cool, and it looks good too, but it's way more comfortable and a better look for me on this black blue shark alpha strap. Give me a quick minute as I try to switch it out. Now it could just be my thin wrists that make the watch somewhat uncomfortable for me, because the bottom edges are a bit sharp on its sides. But once on a nylon strap like this, it ain't gonna be an issue no more. Looks pretty good. Even the brushing on the keepers look good. This watch is easily one of my favorites. As small as this watch is, it is my most legible. It has both brand and military pedigree. The perfect remake with identical dimensions and contemporary refinements. If there were such a thing as a field/dress watch, the Khaki Pilot Pioneer is it. A stunning tool watch, too pretty to go to war. She's a strapzilla, and I enjoy looking at this watch so much. This watch is legit, y'all.